it's your girl Jenny and welcome to another reading vlog. In this one, we are going to be wrapping up some of the books that I kind of have lingering around. It's still October, so we are definitely in the spirit of spooky season reads, and currently I am listening to I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones, and I just got to the 74% mark of the book. I was able to get a good chunk of it between my commute to work, being at work, and then also I had to go grocery shopping afterwards, so I was able to fit in a good chunk. It is a horror novel, July 1989. It's the summer before senior year for best friends Tolly Driver and Amber Dennison. They're not in the marching band, they're not in the FFA, they don't really count. Amber's the only native student in town, and Tolly is only on the radar due to his father's recent death. This is all about to change. Bodies are going to be dropping fast in this small West Texas town for a few unbearably hot days that will resonate through the decades and even get made into a TV movie. Tolly and Amber will be famous, notorious even. Finally, everyone will know their names. This is a Stephen Graham Jones X-raying the slasher genre, interrogating its motivations over the shoulder and in the voice of the killer itself. So yeah, essentially we are reading about how Tolly ended up becoming a slasher, what that pivotal moment in time was that triggered all of this to happen. And also his best friend Amber is really into like horror movies, especially slashers, so she knows everything about it. And so she at one point realized what was happening and told him like, you are becoming a slasher. And there's times where they're kind of like experimenting and they're just trying to figure out like, is there something they can do to stop him? But most likely not. But the thing is, something happened to Tolly that the kids from his school did. It was like a cruel prank, but it was not a prank. Like, that was fucking insane. Like, honestly, they definitely deserved consequences of some sort, and they are the type of kids that get away with being bullies. So that is all I'm gonna say about that. And then I am also listening, what the fuck? And then I am also reading Inside Your Screams by Hayden Robinson. And let me see if there's a blurb on this yet. In this terrifying collection from author Hayden Robinson, you will experience stories that will leave you screaming into the night. So yes, there are a ton of stories in this collection, and there are a couple that I really want more from. Like, I'm so sad that they're only short stories because I'm like, please expand, because I need more of that specific story. Like, there's one where I think it's called Rot, and essentially in their world, like, you will eventually catch a virus. Like, only time will tell when it'll happen, but like, you will catch this virus and you slowly become this infected, and you follow this person who has to go about their daily lives. You know, they have to clock into work, and they realize that they are infected, and so you follow them as they transform. And I really love things like that in movies. Like in zombie movies, I love when things break loose and people are changing. Like, that's my favorite part of zombie movies. I don't care about the survival part. Good for you, that wouldn't be me, but I like when people start getting infected, if that makes sense. So I did really enjoy that story. Ooh, a nasty one was called Roach. Someone living in a pigsty. Title's named Roach. That's all I'll say about that. I love nasty, I love gory, so that one was a nasty read in a good way, because again, I like nasty. Ooh, and another one is called Mothman, and essentially we follow a final girl, not in a slasher way, but like in the world is dying and there's no one left except for me type of way, and she has essentially tried to unalive herself, but nothing works. So she's essentially the final person alive, and I would love to follow that story for a lot longer because I feel like it's less survival and more dreadful, because you're like, I can't die. but I want to. So I really like that one as well. And there are a couple ones that were a little too short that I wish we would have had a little bit more. Like, if you like Reddit short stories, then you're gonna enjoy this collection. But those are the few that have really stuck out to me. So yeah, we are gonna continue our read of that. I just stopped by my library to pick up a hold, and this is What Hunger by Catherine Dang, and I'm really excited for this one. I do low-key wish that it didn't become available until like another week or two, just because I really want to focus on like spooky horror Halloween reads. I might not get to this immediately, but look at that cover. And on my way here, I actually finished the audiobook of I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones, and there was a twist that I should have seen coming, but I'm glad it took me by surprise, but in like a very low-key sad way. So freaking good. I love when a book takes me by surprise. Oh my god, did you guys, I'm gonna leave that in, she just hit my car. Anyway, there was a plot twist that genuinely caught me by surprise, and my mouth dropped. I was just like, no fucking way. This was such an interesting story. Like, genuinely, I don't think I've read a lot of books where we follow the POV of a slasher and like the slasher doesn't want to be a slasher. Like, ugh, it was done so well, and honestly, it makes me want to pick up more of Stephen Graham Jones' books. Hopefully soon. But yeah, that was such a fun read. And I don't have another audiobook lined up right now, but I will check later tonight. Alright, so we are home and we just got done with a couple of chores. Ricky's finishing up with the laundry, and he made us both some decaf coffee, and look at how adorable this new mug is. It's yellow with some ghosties, and honestly, I can never say no to a mug. Like, our mug collection is insane, but you know what? No regrets. My Kindle says I only have 35 minutes left until I finish the book of Inside Your Screams, and I think we can do that tonight just so that tomorrow we can start fresh, and it'll be great. It'll be great because I already know what the next book is going to be. There's actually two on my radar. One's a Kindle. It's technically an arc, and hopefully I can finish it in like a day and get something posted about it, because it's actually an unintended arc by Matthew Vaughn, and it is called The Kentucky Goat Man Massacre by Matthew Vaughn. And I love a Goatman story. One of my favorites is The Public Massacre by Eric Butler. That is still like ingrained into my brain. So I got very excited when I saw this. Email does come out October 18th. And he said, here's a copy if you're interested in reading it. As usual, no worries if you don't want to or can't. And if you guys don't know who Matthew Vaughn is, he is an extreme horror writer. And I mean extreme, okay? Like, to the max. I feel like he's one of those that you don't start reading until you're a little bit more of a seasoned reader, because he can be intense, but I like intense. So I am very, very excited for this one. And then the other book on my radar is The Night of the Jack-O-Lantern. I think that's what it's called, by E. Reyes. And lately I've been reading more of his books. The last one I read was The Love Song of Nathan Crane, which Nathan Crane was fucking loco, okay? So I am very excited for that one because it is a slasher, and I just finished I Was a Teenage Slasher, so we can keep it going with the slasher vibes. But I really do want to read the Goatman one, just so that I can support Matthew Vaughn, because I love supporting my indie authors. Anyway, E. Reyes is also an indie author, and so is Hayden Robinson. Support your indie authors. Anyway, less yapping, more reading. And let's get into it. So far, this is one of the longer stories in this collection, and this is exactly what I needed, because some of the other stories were a little too short to be like properly fleshed out. But this one, it's called Ashlyn and Rosie, or Ashlyn and the Doll, and talk about extreme horror. I'm locked in. Okay, that one was really good. I just finished. Or maybe the story finished me. Okay, that one was good. That one I really liked. I think that might have been my favorite story out of like the short collection. So with that being said, I just got finished with Inside Your Screams by Hayden Robinson. I think, yeah, that story was by far my favorite out of the collection. There were other good ones as well, but I think I really liked it because it was the longest one, and it was properly fleshed out, and it was so fucked. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that was pretty good, and I think I'm gonna need to take a little break before I dive into my next read. Reading the Kentucky Goat Man Massacre. I actually started this last night. I'm so glad that I picked this book up because I feel like it's a nice change of pace, and I am now like past the 50% mark now. I am thoroughly enjoying this. Sometimes with extreme horrors, you don't get a ton of plot. That is not the case here. We get story, we get gore, we get lore, because the Goat Man, hello. And you also get such interesting characters, and you also feel for these characters. So I'm having such a blast. Anyway, I'm taking a little break, and I'm gonna try this. It is the Alani Nu Witch's Brew energy drink, and I hope it's good because I didn't bring a backup energy drink if this doesn't taste good. So fingers crossed. Cheers. Is it apple? I think it's apple. Not bad, but it tastes too fake to me, if that makes sense. Like, you know the taste of Splenda? I hate it. So unfortunately, that is a no for me. Clear our palate and drink some water. I'm having some dinner, and I ordered Domino's. I actually ordered a sandwich. It's the Italian sandwich, and I haven't had it before, so hopefully it's good. Look at that. It looks yummy. Look at that. So anyway, let's talk about the Kentucky Goat Man Massacre. A little bit about the book. We're following different stories, different characters. You don't get essentially different POVs, but you get to follow different storylines of different people, and they all kind of intersect at one point. Essentially, the first chapter came out swinging. We follow Roger and Shannon, and they were having when the Goat Man came after them, and it was brutal, okay? And then we found out that that's actually a story one person was telling to their friend group while they were camping. So it's kind of like when you're with friends and you're telling each other scary stories. Well, that's what he told them to essentially spook them. And so we then follow a group of friends who go camping. We have Henry, Lindsay, Zachary, Cindy, and Wayne. And they're all out camping, and eventually they don't take that story seriously. They're like, it's so inconsistent, like that can't be real. And the Goat Man comes and massacres them, and it is, once again, brutal. And now we are following Billy, and Billy actually is the twin of one of the campers that went missing. And so he is now at the town, and he's just like, hey, my sister and her friends went missing from this area, and my dad and I have been trying to follow up, and you've been giving us the runaround and nothing makes sense. He runs into Sheriff Sims, who is like the lead of that investigation, and right off the bat you can tell that something fishy is going on. And Billy also comes across this girl named Charlie, and she's a little oddball, okay? At first you think that she's like a little quirky and a little like horny, but then she takes Billy to the campsite because he's like, I want to further investigate because my sister's missing and her friends. So she takes Billy to the campsite, and things get super wacky from there. That's pretty much how I would describe Charlie. She's not all here, and she's, I don't know, she's an interesting character, okay? Now Billy is having a hard time because he is now dealing with the goat man. And that's all I'm gonna say about it right now because I don't want to spoil things, but this goat man thing, fucking creepy. And from what is described in the book, he's also very much hung. Okay, like big. So anyway, that is what's going on now. There's been a lot of death, a lot of chaos, a lot of brutality, and it's sheer insanity. Anyway, let's see if we can finally take a bite. This is actually pretty good. Obviously, I've had better Italian sandwiches other places because this still pretty much tastes like pizza, but it's pretty good. I feel like it's just missing a sauce. Another thing I'll have to say is, if you choose to read this book, please, please, please read the trigger warnings because this is an extreme horror story and there's extreme violence, okay? Including a scene where a kid gets slaughtered. Okay, so check your triggers. I just finished a book review and I'm really trying to stay on top of my book reviews, but to be honest, I feel like I am so far behind because I was on an audiobook kick recently and that just added to the amount of books that I have recently read, which I'm not mad at, but when you're trying to keep up with reviews and you're already behind, first world problems.